Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Beet Goes On podcast. I just had to have my friend Meg back on for many reasons. Always, I want to inspire all women in business or anyone in business and get a different perspective for anyone, whatever type of business that you have. But you all know that, like, my dear to heart are my spray tan partners. I have over 200 of them that either are doing it as a side hustle or are full on. And I follow Meg, and I'm friends with Meg. And I stop and look at her often on social media and pay attention to the things she's saying because she does so well at it. And she really has this way about making reels and posts and stories and getting the message across, which I think is important anytime you're pushing any type of product or service or I don't know, consulting or whatever your business might be. So that's why I wanted to have you on, because it's really impressive. I am growing and learning how to do that. The podcast obviously gives me a platform, but I wish I had the day-to-day energy that you put out on social media. So this is meant to help everyone out there, specifically, my Beettan family, my gals. I really do want to help in my local businesses. So welcome back, Meg.
Thank you.
Impressive, Meg. And I just wanted you to kind of talk about, I think we were just kind of chatting before the podcast started. And, we're going into scary times. Pre-election, inflation. We've got some scary stuff going on in Israel. All of these things affect, when people get fearful, it affects purchases, it affects business, it affects the economy. And when we're coming up on an election, it's just historically speaking, like this is just, we all kind of hold back. So I wanted to get on here and just kind of motivate and inspire and talk about how we pivot and how we're going to pivot, because it's so easy to just be like, I can't do that, I'm scared. Yeah. It's so easy to get caught up in that like energy of halt, of like stopping. So that's what I wanted. When you reached out to me, 2 weeks ago, I was like, yeah, let's have her back on, because I think this is a good time for us to like really work together on this podcast to see what we can come up with for each other, but also what we can put out there to other people who are feeling the pain.
I really think now is the most important time to show up, because so for me, for example, I think ahead of time. Like, I think of where am I going to be in the next 90 days? Mm-hmm. Where am I going to be in the next year? Where am I going to be in the next 5 years? And it actually, before I even started this whole working online thing and, helping people with passive streams of income, I was at a point where it was that one stream of income wasn't doing enough. And I knew the holidays were coming up, and I said, I don't think I can afford to even buy, I can get my mom and dad something maybe, but I've got...
You're scared to go full on.
Right. Yeah. And then when you have a kid, you want to give your kid the best Christmas possible. But then, so I sat there and I was like, okay, if I'm going ahead and saying this now, where if I'm in the same spot in 5 years, I've done nothing to progress and move forward, and I'm in the same spot and it's going to get worse. And because it is let's look at the economy, everything is everything is going up.
Being prepared for it and being ready to pivot is key. And also not living in fear, not having a fear base. I didn't want to do this podcast to have everyone get scared, be scared. I wanted to do this podcast because you do a really good job, and I really am trying hard to do this or portray it to others, is not leading with that fear, having that abundant mindset and having, and learning how to pivot and learn during these times rather than freeze.
I agree. I feel so I'm going to be really transparent. I hate showing up on social media, and I know I make it look like it's easy, it's fun, it is, but it's not, because when you have to put on, and don't get me wrong, I have found a routine. So I had to make a routine to where I was I know what I want to show up and do in the morning, but what I do in the morning is what I plan at night. So I actually plan everything out where I'm I want to post this reel. I want to, I wake up before my son, so that gives me a little bit of morning time. And just literally, when you're your own boss, it's a blessing and a curse.
Oh, I agree.
Because you
And
have
nobody's
to
harder
sit
on
there
yourself
and like
than yourself.
yes, and
That's
you
the
literally
curse.
have to like discipline
Yeah.
yourself. But for me, it got. I think it's not when you look at the actions; it's the meaning behind the actions.
Mhm.
So, like for me, for example, I knew this year I wanted to give my husband, my son, like an incredible Christmas. Well, giving them that, I knew that I had to work harder now for more later. And I always
Mhm.
tell people you need to fix the roof before the leak.
Yeah.
Because there's so many Americans out there that if they have a $500 emergency, they don't have that.
Yeah, it's very true.
You know what I mean? And so say you have say someone goes to the hospital and they don't have that. So that kind of drives me into
Mhm.
action. And then when I get into the action itself, I don't think about like freaking out anymore. I'm like,
Mhm.
literally, I'm like, okay, I'm focused on this reel. I'm talking to these people. I am posting this content.
Mhm.
But another tip, I got smarter with like my time.
Mhm.
So I do time management like really well now, which took a whole lot of freaking work.
Did you just like start making a schedule? Like, let's say, obviously, who I have to resonate with are my spray tan
Yeah.
partners because I own and run a spray tan business, and we're doing a service along with it. Do you just block out? I try not to scroll too much, but I do
Mhm.
get inspiration from scrolling
Mhm.
too. So it's funny how the algorithm. I mostly watch like female empowerment. Like I don't follow Kim Kardashian. Like
Yeah.
that's not my
Yeah.
that's not my life algorithm. So
No.
I match what I follow. I follow Lori Harder, Gabrielle Bernstein, like people who I'm like want to gain something from, because then it brings this whole different vibe in
Oh,
your
it
algorithm,
changes your algorithm
which is
completely.
a positive, which actually is makes I feel like it wakes me up
Yeah.
creatively. But if
Yeah.
I'm following my neighbor Sally, who is dramatic, I don't have a neighbor named Sally who's dramatic. I'm just saying that. You can really get bogged down.
Yeah.
Not only by your neighbor, the company you keep, they always say you are the 5 people or whatever that you're around. But that's also if you're clogging your brain with
Mhm.
this, with
That's
someone who's found their social media following or gone viral with some drama. That's not my vibe. And kudos to you
Right.
if that is, it's not mine. So I try to keep it in the same, in the same algorithm as me. The reason that I say that is, she's got a goal. She's setting time aside for social media. I just wanted to see how, because you're always in her vibe.
100%. So this strategy changed literally everything for
Mhm.
me, because I just got done saying like I added something else on my plate because I'm
Mhm.
very goal driven, and I'm like, I get done with something, I need to, like the book, for example. The book is done. Okay, what's next? What can I
She wrote a
tackle
book.
next? Yeah.
And it's awesome. It's about community.
And so what I do, I'm gonna like literally change your life after this, and it's so simple, but it is something that you are going to be like, I have gotten so much done today. At the end of the day, you're going to
Mhm.
feel like you can have that TikTok time and you can have that real time. So what I do is I will break down the day 30-minute increments at a time. So
Mhm.
I wake up at like 6 o'clock. So from 6 o'clock to 6:30, that's my wake up time. 6:30 to 7. I block everything out. I wake up my son.
Mhm.
I have to where basically at the end of the day, you're blocking everything out in 30 minutes. You write down first everything that you know you have to do at that certain time. You'll go back and you'll see, I have free time here. I have free
Mhm.
time here. I have free time here. Use that free time for whatever it is you want to excel in. So, like, say your business, say you need to get some cleaning done at the house, but you
Mhm.
set a timer for that one.
You might need to
like,
just sit there and do nothing.
amen.
That 30 minutes might be breathing or
This is my
meditating,
nap time.
jogging, listening to music. Yeah, but I like that. So 30-minute increments.
At
Yeah.
a time. And then what you'll do at the end of the day is you will, like I said, look back, and then you'll see what you have, just
How much you
everything
could
that's accomplished.
accomplish. Yeah.
But you'll also, so I'm going to be real transparent here. My bathroom time is when I actually do my scrolls. So I use my scrolling for different,
Killing two
reels
birds,
for
one
inspiration
stone.
and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Because I mean, I take my phone to the bathroom with me. Like, it is what it is. But you'll set a timer for like that certain task, but you only focus on that task. So you're giving that task like 100%.
And y'all, you ADHD girls out there that have squirrel brain like me, I think that's really good. I literally will be like meditating and thinking about like 10 years from now. So I have to me personally, I have to take deep breaths. Meditation is how I stay focused. I do not take any medication. The girls that work with me love when I have one glass of wine because it just simmers me down. But these are, and especially when you were in a fear-based environment, which is, we're very well into that for many reasons right now. And then also like financially, you're not doing as many spray tans, you're not selling as much online, you're not getting as much. It can be so easy to get into such a weird mindset. So those 30, planning your day out like that, it puts that energy that you are putting into yourself, your first and foremost, yourself, your mental, your own self, your family, and then your business. And that energy is recognized by the universe and God. And that it comes back, you can, and also it makes you feel like you're doing something. But if you're frozen, watching reality TV, scrolling through that bad algorithm, drinking too much, smoking too much pot, whatever I know, and I'm saying this because I do it. I'll have 3 more glasses of wine. Yeah, 3 more. I'll have 3 glasses of wine instead of 1 glass. You just find yourself like numbing, freezing, getting into a slump. So I think that's having exercises like that where you make it a daily. Well, it's actually chipping away at the blockage that's blocking you from getting to an abundance mindset. There are always people, they weren't like born lucky.
Yeah.
It's about doing things like this.
Well, and that's a good solid point right there, because everyone who became successful, the key is consistency. So once you get the routine, quote unquote routine, and you're consistent with that, like, look at what you've built. Like, if you weren't consistent with it, do you think you'd have this today? Absolutely not.
And I wish I would. I have to remind myself sometimes, because I will get I was frozen one day this week just because of, I just told everyone to leave me alone. I didn't say it like that. I just was like, I'm not feeling well today. I just have a bit of an emergency is what I said. But my emergency was my mental health. The company took a shift. Beettan is doing very well, but there's ebbs and flows of any business. And I am we're all learning as we go, and I'm trying to prepare, but also stay in abundance mindset. So I took a day where I just I didn't leave my house, and other than to walk my dog, and I kept on like soft meditative music. I didn't have any alcohol, any caffeine. I literally was like focused on my breath work and planning, and I had the energy to wake up. So sometimes I think just clearing that calendar for your mindset too, but we have to persevere. We have to pivot and not give up, because when you got into this, because you wanted to work from home, we said this on the last podcast, and spend more time with your son, which is why you got into this. There are times where you're like, oh my God, what did I do? Like, I do that too. You're like, oh my gosh, why did I start this whole thing? I have no idea what I'm doing. And you have to quit. I mean, what do you do during those moments?
When I'm not wanting to
when
be,
you're
like,
just,
when I'm not motivated and not okay. So my brain, it's all brain work. So I sit back and I'm like, okay, you might be not wanting to do this right now, but you know what else you don't want to do? Me personally, again, there's nothing wrong with a 9-to-5 job. I didn't want a 9-to-5 job.
You don't want to be working for somebody else.
I wanted to dictate my life. So yeah, I don't want to show up right now, but I'm going to, because it's not for me. It's when you sit there and think of, you're not showing up on social media for you. You're showing up for your family and everyone else.
Yeah.
You're like, that's literally like me telling my son, for example, I don't want to show up for you today. And like, when I say that, I'm like, I would never. Like, I would never. How
old is your little boy?
He's 4 now.
He's 4. So coming from a 22-year-old son, I feel like I've learned as now I'm teaching adulthood. If I don't show up for myself as well, then I'm teaching him
something. Have to. Yeah.
What am I portraying that now that I'm teaching adulthood? So it's so, and I was when they're younger like that, it's like they are totally dependent on you. So they are your drive. And then when they grow up, it doesn't change.
No.
But it changes because you have to portray adulthood to them and how you want them to feel and love and show up for themselves too. So it's all just, children really are a lot of motivation.
Yeah.
Some people who don't have kids, like, when you do, or if you do or do not plan to have them, showing up for yourself.
Yeah.
You're letting yourself down, which is the worst.
Right. And that's, when I think about that too, it's a lot of mental work more than anything. And having that mental day, you needed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like so on my little task routine thing that I just talked about, I carve out time for my family. Like, my team knows my business hours, my family hours, my like gym time. Like, they know when is like, my hours of not bothering me, and then when I'm available.
Right. That's so good. Creating boundaries is so good.
And it helps with your, just like we said, mental state.
Everything. I was telling the girl spray tan partners last night, because I worked 8 a.m. to 8, actually almost 9 o'clock p.m. last night, but I chose to. I opened up the schedule. Now, I didn't work nonstop. I opened my schedule up for people to book because it's a Thursday before wedding season. That's one day a week. I chose to open up the schedule. Availability is what has gained me success, because they're going to choose to go to the ultra salon, tanning salon, or whatever that's open till 10 p.m. that has a booth. So I have to make myself available in season, wedding season. But last night I was like, but when I first started, I didn't have as many boundaries. So people have my cell phone and it'll ask me for tans last minute. And I've learned to just not answer that text until the appropriate time the next morning. Yeah. So there are ways to create boundaries, but also work. You have to sometimes do the things you don't want to do 100%. When you don't want to do it. And I don't know what you do, but during those times I take a deep breath and I'm just like, I always answer with kindness. And I don't always, that's a lie. I have practiced only in the last 2-3 years when I find myself getting really frustrated. Also, text messaging sucks because you can read it 10 different ways than the way it was actually, than the context it was sent in. You can read it a totally different way than the tone it was sent in. So I'll be like, how dare her? That's such my
right.
And so I change my mind immediately and answer something nice. And then when I get something nice back, it's like I can only change the tone of how I interpret it and how I'm not going to project what I read. So that's a really good way of just changing when you're working hard and when you're making time for your business and you don't always get the response you think you want. Give what you want. Yeah. Give the energy, put out the energy that you want back. You can't be like, my business isn't growing. Well, what are you doing?
Exactly. But you're also, at the end of the day, like, here's another thing I always put into my brain when I don't want to show up. If I'm not doing anything, do you really think my team is going to do anything?
Exactly.
Do you really think they're going to show up?
It's contagious.
No.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember what book I read. It was a few years ago, but it said, only 70 to 80% of your team shows up every single day. So when I thought about that, I was like, nope. Like, they're going to do what you do. And if you don't show up, you can't expect others to show up. You just can't. You can't. You have to get your work down first. You have to get your, routine. Or I'm not saying you have to spend all day on.
No, just interact. Especially like we both with the companies that with what we do, we work in a very community based.
Right.
And if I don't show up for my community, I see the ripple effect of it. So, and then I love when I'm showing up, and I've done little things like automations that genuinely come from me. But I've learned how to make technology work for me to be authentically me. So there are automations that you can do. And so I'll roll into this because this is really what I think that Meg's strength is. We are coming into holiday season. I very much try to push selling online. So my business is very service-based. Yours is very online. Tell them your social media page for your new one. to help selling on
Making Money with Meg. Thank you. Super
Making
easy.
Money with Meg. We'll put
Super
it in the
easy.
show notes. I'm going to send it out to an email to all my gals because she has a lot of if I go to Meg's page, it's very motivating. And sometimes you just need that. So she doesn't even know this, but I'm like, oh man, she's so right. I know this, but sometimes we already know what we know, but we need to be reminded.
I don't take compliments well, so I'm like sitting over here like.
Well, you should, because it is sometimes like her business is totally different than mine, but the message is very in alignment with what I'm trying to teach, coach, and live.
Right.
Live my life and run my business and my community. I love a lot of the things that you say. But one thing that I know that I find value in you is that I know that you're great at is online sales. So you're good at driving people to purchase something that you believe in.
Mm-hmm.
All of my spray tan partners definitely believe in Beettan.
Mm-hmm.
We are service-based too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the money seems better with the service-based side. The client comes there, you get to interact, you make them feel good. It's all about the feel good. The interacting with someone one-on-one obviously is always better. But what about opening that mind up just a little bit to, okay, you can sell online. You can reach anyone across the U.S., nationwide, that not in your area, and sell online. Yeah. And that's what you do. Yeah. And some of the people, and my friend Courtney, who also sells online, she, with the same situation, an affiliate link, or she's affiliated with a network marketing company, but there's no overhead. She just sends the link, but she says she has more customers outside of her area that she lives in than she does inside of her area.
I do too.
So yeah, tell me about that, because I think that's where we all get stuck. We have our community.
When I first started, that's actually one of the biggest things that like people would come to me about. They're like, well, I don't know a lot of people in the area. That reason right there is the exact reason for being online, because you can reach anyone and everyone. I have met so many, I say strangers.
Through consistency online and interacting online.
But it's all about obviously showing up. That's the first step. Second step is being consistent. Third step is getting smart about it. So for me, I was like, okay, it's going to start with reaching out to who I was, but who I'm becoming. So I was broke. I was someone who wanted more time freedom. I was someone who...
You're finding the use.
Yes. I was someone who wanted financial freedom. I was someone who was like wanting to just go out on a Tuesday and just do whatever I like, literally have a me day, get a massage, whatever it might be. I was wanting to speak, or moms who feel like they have everything on their plate and they don't have time to take care of themselves. They are just overwhelmed. They're exhausted. So there's your first starting point is figuring out who you want to talk to.
So in a case where like Beettan, where we're just pushing product, you still find the use. Why do you like the product?
You do.
How can you push the product for the things that you like? And it also, we pay a referral. So we're not network marketing, but our structure is very similar, except for we don't have teams. We just have more just community.
And I can give you an example of what is it, 35%, right?
So we do 35% just with retail products sold online. Okay. So a spray tan partner, actually you could do, affiliates get the same. So whether you're doing spray tanning partnership for Beettan or whatever, if you join the affiliate, you get paid. It's an automatic pay. If you send someone through your link to our website to purchase self-tan or whatever, you get 35% of anything sold on our website. Yeah. So I just wanted to...
Okay. So what people don't know, they don't know, right? Obviously. So I am part of a network marketing company. What our chart for like payment for commission wise, yes, it's based on like your level or whatever, but it starts at, I want to say 15% and then works all the way up to about 38%. That's at the top.
So we are just
you're giving a lot of money away, which is
for
amazing.
Affiliate. Yeah, just for affiliate, but we don't have teams or whatever. Like I very much almost went that route with it, but because there's a service attached to it, I just thought this was the best way to do it. And I'd rather give someone the opportunity to sell the product And I'd rather sell to the U's of the world than be in a Costco.
Mhm.
Like that's just I want someone wearing it,
People,
representing it,
Yeah.
and getting it out there that because they're using it,
Yeah.
not because I sold a massive amount to some, and nothing against that. I mean, I have a friend that makes a ton of money selling Costco, Whole Foods, but that's not this product. Very much needs to be explained, and it's a self-tanning product.
Well, and I think it sells itself. And when you're, sharing, like,
what
let's
you
be
love
real,
about it,
like every single female wants to feel good, look good, get tan. Like, yeah, I was just telling you, I was like, I have a trip coming up, I have the holidays coming up. You know what I mean? But it's a way of sharing it like organically, of just being like, first of all, let me give you this. It's not an MLM company. Like you just untie that completely.
right?
So when you just share everything's like in your stories.
But I love the network marketing structure.
Same.
I just did I love how there's no overhead and how someone can just make money without anything tied to it. It's not the route that goes with Beettan, but I'm friends with people who own network marketing companies. I get it. They've come a long way. The structures have come a very long way. They're not pyramid scheme. They're not. I know there have been some stigma behind some others, but you have to really look into it because companies like what Meg does, like it's not like that anymore. I'm trying to
they've changed.
Very politically
correct.
correct.
No, I know.
Yeah.
They've definitely changed.
Because I can't speak for everyone, but I have some very successful friends. Meg is one of them. My friend Courtney is one of them. And sometimes like they're competitive brands, but what I love about it is they're like, this is our community. They're both successful. There's enough to go around. They both have very great mindsets and are very supportive of me and the structure of my company, which is obviously why I had you on. But there's something to be said about that community part, which is what is actually makes it so successful, which is actually what her book's about. And we'll put that in the show notes too. Her book is amazing. But I wanted her, selfishly, partly I wanted her on to explain because it is hard because service base is attached to my company. It is hard for me to explain that online sales part of it. I think they're so focused on getting customers and because locally it is a cool way. I can speak personally. It is a cool way to like shine in your community by growing a successful business. Yeah. But as far as just another way of income, dude, you can't like.
That's right before the holidays. Like I think now is I have been working harder now more than ever because I know. Okay, let's stop right there. Black Friday's coming up. People are going to spend money that they don't have on Black Friday.
And we give them free shipping. So 35% the customer orders and gets free shipping. So I just wanted someone on here to help me explain because I focus so much on the local spray tan business part of it to help with how cool it is that you do nothing but share a link. And tell what you like about the product.
That's so easy to do.
And you can sell
once a day in your stories.
And TikTok is a really easy way to do it.
It really is. It really is. There's so many. I think at the end of the day, not you, but anyone, just get in your head. I still get in my head, but I'm like, you know what? Like,
well, I think it gets discouraging sometimes too when we spend all this time posting something and then we go back and look, and it's very much discouraging when you have. I'm speaking personally from something I did yesterday that I thought was really cute and I worked hard on and I didn't get the response that I wanted. I was dancing in the tent acting stupid months back and I got 5,000 views on TikTok. I struggle hardcore on this. So that's another reason I wanted to have Meg on. It's like I struggle with that, but she just keeps on keeping on. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to keep posting and be consistent and one day I'll go viral.
Well, okay. So 2020, I went viral on TikTok. And ever since then, nothing.
Changed. Yeah.
Nothing. So, but here's another thing to think about too. I think a lot of people want to go, their one video viral, but then it goes viral and they do nothing with it. Like, you know what I mean? I took advantage of I took 2 or 3 days to make sure I responded to every single person. So even
you've got to interact with the people and you have to interact. You have to follow. If you want people to follow and like, and you have to follow and like-minded people or people
Yeah, and
in
that
your
actually boosts your engagement. That's a tip on Instagram. If you take when you do a post or a reel, whatever,
it's called social media.
for a reason.
Let's
But
think
if you
about
take
this.
time to go, leave a few comments on like take 10 minutes.
Mhm.
And once you post, take 10 minutes to just comment on other people's,
do unto
feed.
others as you want them to do to
And
you.
then we'll come right back to you, so it actually boosts your engagement too.
And just put yourself in their shoes. That person with that business, let's say it's your local boutique or a boutique in a city you don't even know about, or a person who they took the time. You can tell when someone's not just trying to, filter themselves and do something that's trendy, even though those things do make me laugh at times. But and I do them. But if someone took the time, take the time to comment, like, share, to do it. And I'm guilty of not doing it as well. But
Right.
I actually just thought about that this week. I'm like, here I am. Boo-hoo is, woe is me. But who did I?
Yeah.
Like, who did I
do the same
notice that? Support your community of women that you have on social media, but reach out and meet some more, because we're all having the same struggle. We're all struggling with the same thing, and if it resonates with you, or if you can just tell they worked really hard on that, by golly, just like it.
It's just support. And with so many, TikTok has so many trolls. So if we can change that, and that's what I love about this community, what we were just talking about, there's just so much support. There's so much support, and so if we can obviously, get that out there, and if you are in any online business or whatever it might be, you have to get social. So I've actually been helping one of the nutrition places in where I live help with their social media, and we've been having to get more on interactive on social media, on Facebook pages, and get in. I'm not going to say the name of where I live, but they have communities. So that mom group and this group and this group. And so you're meeting so many people, and they just organically come to you. And so you're not being one of those. And I was one of them. I can call this out right now. Whenever I did my old prior business, I was a hey girl person. And when you would get in messages all the time and they're like, oh, here's Meg. I was one of them. And so now that alleviates that into where it's people are coming to you.
You're just interacting, liking what they're doing, and then people just organically come to you. Do you find that instead of being like, this stuff's really good, tag, my new thing is I would share a testimonial or whatever, because I didn't quite feel comfortable in front of the camera. So last night I made myself, after a 12-hour day of working. Now, again, I didn't work straight, but it was full on. I started at 8 a.m. I was done at 9 p.m. Throughout the day. I had spray tans. So I looked like shit. I really did. My hair was crazy. I had no makeup on. I didn't have a tan myself because I didn't have time to tan myself. I was tanning everybody else. I scrubbed mine off. I got home and my hands were covered in spray tan. And so I was like, now's the time to do an authentic.
Yes.
Let me show you how to get spray tan and self tanner off your hands. So that's my new promise to myself. It's just to do authentic tutorials where I'm not like, and then you do the scrub. I'm gonna legit show when I'm using the product. The scrub is pretty hard because I'm naked in the shower, so I'm not quite sure I'm gonna pull that one off. But I think I can show what I'm trying to get off, and weekly spray tan. Help people understand the product. Tutorials do really. I watch them all the time. Why aren't I doing them?
I know. And that's the thing too, is I think a lot of people this was the old me. They overthink they overthink content. If you look in
you want to produce it or get Missy's my podcast producer here. I told her recently, okay, I'm pivoting, I'm budgeting. I'm just going to full on do it myself because it's authentically me. I'm the owner of the company. Why am I overthinking this thing? It needs to be so produced. I'm not trying to be Coco and Eve. I'm a small community-based company that wants to interact with my clients, my spray tan partners. If I am trying to be like Coco and Eve, I'm losing the community so what the heck am I doing?
Yeah.
And
that makes you so much more relatable. Like
Yes.
so much more relatable. Like,
right.
oh, she can do this. I can do this.
Exactly.
But
I
at
need
the
to
end of
practice what I preach.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like just we were talking about. But now if you scroll on like Instagram, I like that it's not like picture perfect now. It's like
I
I'm gonna
love
show
that.
it real and raw. But
I
there's
love that
you
too.
can literally go in your phone. I'm gonna go ahead and call myself out. Before I was walking here, I put my phone up propped up on my car and I was just walking back and forth. I'm going to use that for content, not
Mhm.
now, but later. So it's in my phone and just put words over it.
Yep.
How hard is that?
Right.
Everyone had like you can do a video of you cooking and it doesn't even have to be about cooking. You can give like
people
here's
like,
a tip of the day.
You know that
here's this.
recently I read or something, maybe it was Rayshon that told me. Rayshon's a friend of mine who has like a cooking show. And then Emily Bargeron, who's also been on my podcast, she's a fashion designer. And she was like at Bonnaroo. She has a booth at Bonnaroo with all of her cool festival clothes. And she went viral cutting a watermelon. Like it nothing.
Like crazy.
But and then Rayshon told me that people like that like food presentation or food cooking or recipes. So my next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the scrub, I'm gonna smear it all over something, like smell it.
Yeah.
That's what people like, and explain the ingredients and why it does what it does in words, but like with something cool.
Yeah.
Like some kind of cool where I'm showing the product and how it actually is a really pretty and it smells really good. So how can I portray that? Because if people are watching people cut watermelons,
you know, it would be really funny.
Like I don't have
if
to get
you
naked
got
and scrub in
you
the
don't
shower.
have
I mean, I
to,
could. That would go viral. Probably.
Yeah. Or if you got like,
not gonna do that.
for example, like say like you were right there and I came to sit by you and I just did this whole like, you know, like that tan smell, like that nasty tan smell. And you're like, yeah, we don't have, you know what I mean? Like a video showing like, oh,
just
wow, you smell really good. Like your brain is constantly, you got to get into scenarios.
Or you know how people do, well, we're totally giving people ideas right now.
Yeah,
but you know how people they have that shoe, and I get stuck watching because I'm like, what are they going to be wearing next? They're standing there, and then they have that shoe, and then they kick their leg up. Like, what if I had a beet?
I know.
And then the beet turned into a product line. Like just cool little things like that.
It's just doing
that are just doing it.
It's just doing
but
it.
I'm telling you, those simple tutorials, I'll watch somebody I watched a dude with a beard put a whole face of makeup on the other day. I watched the whole 5-minute thing on TikTok. I was like, and then I watched.
I would watch it too.
Then I watched another guy build a wall out of clay, and he was covered in dirt. It was so weird. So I'm saying like these things work. Crazy. It's not all about like looking. Mm-mm. Sometimes just showing the process. And too much edits. We're finding this. I'm pointing at Missy again because I'm like, just take all this and make a video, and we're not getting the views because it's too produced, it's too polished, it's not authentic. I can relate
to that. They're like, oh, they're perfect.
So I'm spending money on editing for the company, for it to get less views because really they just want to talk to the authentic founder of the company, find out how she's actually using the products. And how many sunless tanning companies? I'll wait. Do you know that the person's behind it?
Yeah.
Norvell, St. Tropez. Do
we
even know who the F that is?
Right.
I know one of them is this really tan Jewish guy who's really nice, but he's really nice, and we're all, we are competitors, but it's healthy competition, and we interact some on social media. But he doesn't even need his product. He found a niche and developed it. And knew how to push it out. So he was good at business and found a niche that was needed. I legit use my product every stinking day.
Yeah.
So like nothing bad towards him. He was successful in his own right. He understood the science and developed his own products or whatever, and knew how to push it in a whole different way. But I think there's something to be said from a woman who's using a product that's empowering other women in many ways that's what I'm trying to portray out there. Why the heck am I not doing it?
Yeah.
You do a really good job of portraying like what you stand for, why you do it. And that's what I meant. Like why the other day I messaged her. I was like, we just need to have Meg back on because when I see you, I'm like, that's what the hell I need to be doing. Like,
and that's where that algorithm, how we were kind of, I think it was like right before this, but your algorithm, once you start like doing specific hashtags, for example, your whatever it might Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, it knows you and it will start showing you that. And so what I will do is I'll save that because obviously I'll be like, okay, well I want to share something like that. So I'll save the video and then whenever I do want to make a video or post a video, I'll go back to it. I'll even use the same. I'll give you 2 tips actually right now. So if you look on you might know this though, on the Instagram music or like sound you want to use, if it's got the arrow, that's a trending that's a trending
I did
sound.
know that.
So you want to use that every single time so your stuff pushes out. Another random tip is if you use random viral hashtags like that aren't even about like
Relevant to
tanning
your
or
business.
whatever, it'll still push your videos out because that's what's hitting right now.
And you can find viral hashtags where?
I think
you just look at viral videos.
You can, or I think there's a website. Actually, just go to Google.
Yeah,
just go to Google and type in, because they're going to change.
And there have been rumors that hashtags don't work, but hey, if they don't, who cares? But I doubt it.
That's what I'm saying. Like
just use
why
it.
not post it?
Why argue against it? Like it's not going to hurt. Hashtags are not hurting your social media. Do it. I don't know. I just think there's just so many ways to, just like anything in life, there's 9 reasons not to do it. But hey, if that one reason makes you, somebody's always going to find something wrong with everything. You just wake up and who's the most important person? It should be you first. I mean, I know I'm a mom. I've definitely made lots of sacrifices for my child, but my new thing is teaching my child that my mindset and myself and my wants and my needs and my desires are very important, and I shouldn't sacrifice them for a man or for a child or for anything. That is a way to set the example for my kid. It's taken me 40 freaking years to not feel guilty about that. And I'm seeing him honor himself more and show up for himself more because I am for me too. Which is crazy, which is crazy that it took me that long to realize that's not selfish. That's just showing up for him by showing up for myself.
I know. And at the end of the day, if you took the time and thought about how much time you spent like scrolling or worried about anyone else or worried about, okay, what's, the celebrities, whatever, or
why the hell
I'll go ahead
about celebrities anyway.
I'll go ahead and say that I have been in a scroll hole over like certain crimes going on. Like, so, you know what I mean? I'm like, I just spent 2 hours of, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's
so if you took that time,
like if you're not using it creatively to build your life or build your mind or build your business or be a better human, then you might be stunting yourself. So we need a new hashtag.
Or if you're sitting there and complaining,
I'll think of it in a minute.
I'm going to think of it at the end of this, and we're going to use that hashtag in this video.
We have to.
But if you sit there and you have no room to complain. If you're spending your time.
Screen that scroll. I don't know. Sorry. Okay.
Now her brain is so focused. Hold on. Screen. No. Hold the scroll.
Hold the scroll.
I don't know. I'm going to think of something.
Be aware of the scroll. It could be just very long. Stop scrolling.
Remember Dare? What was it? What was the Dare? DARE?
Yeah, we'll come up with something.
But something like that.
Yeah, that's funny.
But yeah, I just
see.
You see, if we could do this, anyone can do this.
But I'm telling you, I want to pay attention to what's going on in the world today. The stuff that's going on in Israel right now is terrible, mortifying. But I limit myself to what I read about. I usually do like the New York Post or things like that. I'm not going to get lost in a hole because it becomes a war on social media. So things that are know the publication that you're reading. Social media is not the place for that. Social media is a way to build and grow a community. And if you use it and live it that way, it very much will be that for you.
Right.
But if you go the opposite route, it's everything. I
agree. I cannot argue with you there because I 100% agree. And don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect.
No,
I mean, I have, my days where I'm like I said, a time block, but at the end of the day, I sometimes use it as a treat.
We do it in life. Yeah. We can wake up the happiest human on the planet, take your jog, spend time. I'm just speaking from have the best jog with my princess, which is my dog. and come back to the house. My makeup did right. My hair did right. My outfit looks great. And then that one person hurts my feelings. It's the same thing with social media. It's that same emotion. Like, how do you let it affect you? Luckily, on social media, you can just put your phone down. Sometimes you can't get away from that mean coworker or whatever the case may be. So, it's all mindset. It's all overcoming that. And it's all using it for the health and wealth of your mind, body, and soul.
Mm-hmm.
And also being that for other people. Yeah. And if you are that for yourself, you can be that for other people. Yeah. And we just went off on a tangent. But the real reason I wanted Meg on here is I want you guys to all follow her. I want you guys to pay attention to how she does simple little things to grow her business and to sell. And I love her heart, and I love that she wants to teach that. That's why she wrote a book. That's why she has Make Money with Meg social media now. And it truly is my heart of hearts as well, that we very much are in sync in that way. We both want to help women. We want to help them, empower them, and them to make money. This isn't just about feeling good. Like, for me, it's a lot of passion, but money is what drives everything too. There's got to be some money with it. Yeah. And there's some real work that goes with it. So if you can put that passion and why you started, whatever it is that you started doing, and really grow and do something different. I loved what she said earlier about the 30-minute increments, whatever you need to do, a journal, a calendar, I get text messages from Lori Harder. She's an author. I love her. I got a text from her today just as a reminder. She's got this cool text messaging thing. It's weird how like the right thing will happen or the right thing will come through. But anyway, that's why I wanted you on, is I wanted some, I allow my partners, I have an affiliate program. I have an affiliate program that anyone really, but mostly the spray tan partners can sell through the website, make 35%. And I just wanted proof that is a very large commission. It really is. You do nothing but share a link.
I'm going to start doing it. Yeah. That's a big
and
piece right there.
And anyone can do it. And if you have a like-minded business, Courtney started doing it with Savvy. Yeah. Like if you have a like-minded business, it's just another, you already have the trust of those people. And the ones that like self-tanner will trust it's just a way for me to just stay out of Costco. I want the people who are representing the brand, wearing the products, and telling them why. Just authentic customers. We're getting. I keep pointing at Missy because she's been in all these meetings. Influencer. We had an influencer company which we're going to work with. Right. But it's important. You've been buying Beettan for how long?
How old was I when I was working in the bars?
I mean, good grief. But you start buying the product once, like you've been for
It's got to be 10 years, maybe. Yeah. 10 plus.
Since it started, really. Yeah. So why wouldn't I want her to be the one repping the customer that loves it? A customer, Margaret, this morning, I won't say her last name. She said, this is the best. She said, I've always used your products. This is the best spray tan I've ever had. Thank you so much. For whatever her message was really sweet.
Which is true.
That's so amazing. Those are the people I want repping. Right. Not the people I'm begging, not the people, not the big box guys. I just love the authenticity. But that's why
network marketing companies are so successful. Exactly. Because of people. Like they're not throwing it out and just like you said in the stores.
You hear me, people? I'll pay it forward. I'm paying a good commission. But that's the part that's just so mind blowing to me. It is. That I'm giving more. I'm giving like top tier amounts that these network marketing companies do, and I've got this like crickets. We've got about 10 people who sell,
and that's not you. That's just people not wanting to do it or share. Another thing too is people don't realize that you sharing for another company, you don't even get commissions back. You'll get a coupon code to share. Yes. And that's it.
And I'm like giving money.
That's what I'm saying. People want money.
All you have to have is if you don't already have a PayPal account, open a PayPal account because the affiliate program we use requires PayPal. That's all you have to do. And you get paid every 30 days from just pushing the product.
What does it hurt to share? Nothing.
Yeah, and you get special pricing on your own product too, and free
that's products. A win-win.
Yeah, it's a win-win. I know. I wanted to have you on because I see everything that you're doing, and I'm like, I'm I love it. I love it. And I'm like, help me, help me, help me, help them.
That's what community is for.
Yeah, help me, help
100%.
them. And you really do put off. I'll wrap it up. But you really do put off a great energy online. Everyone, you have to follow her. Do you have multiple pages?
I have 2, but I mean,
Making
I'll
Money
just
with
give you
Meg
both.
is
The real Meg Williamson is
Yeah, I
like
like
my
that. That's the
me
one I'm talking-
page, and you like, you know, that's my life. And then the
which you
more,
want to see because her child is so stinking cute.
yeah, like I share him
Oh
more
my
in that
gosh,
one.
he's so cute.
I don't know, can he stay that way?
He's
Anyways, I'm gonna have a 22-year-old now.
Yeah.
Is he 22?
Yeah, he's 22.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
That's so weird. And then the Making Money with Meg is more of the passive streams of income page.
And I think we should have you on like quarterly just to kind of see where we're at and see both of us with the different things that we're doing. We have we have the same passion, we have the same push, and
I was gonna say these help me more than anything too, because when you when you surround yourself with like-minded, like driven women, you just we were literally just going through hashtags of our brain, like going back and forth. So that's why you have
it's fueling the fire that we both have, and you need that community. So I appreciate you for coming on here and speaking to my community, and we'll work together again.
Yeah, I look forward to next time, girl.
All right, well, I love ya.
Love you.
All right.